Good morning, YouTubers. This is Edward here again. Going to spend the morning with you at a foreigner escapes from the Philippines. It's Saturday morning here this morning, and we have some chores to do with the pool, concerning the pool, just like most mornings. But yesterday we had a 12 and a half hour blackout. So no electricity for 12 and a half hours. Luckily, most of the morning I was gone in the jungle on the prospecting trip. Wasn't that successful, but I got a feel for, using my prospecting equipment and how thick the jungle is there, and what kind of things I was finding with that metal detector. I found 3 bottle caps of Pepsi, 2 Tanduay rum, a tin can, and an aluminum arrow. So those are the only big hits I really got. I did get a piece of a shovel too, a little corner of the bottom of a spade that broke off. So I'm going to be hitting the jungle again soon. Yesterday somehow, when I got home from prospecting, there was a blackout here, so I stripped down and I was walking around barefoot and cut my one foot pretty deep on the underneath side by the ball of my foot there, by the big toe. So I had to go into the clinic and get a couple stitches. I should have made a video on that, but I wasn't thinking. But as you can see here on the pool today, see how dirty it gets there on the bottom? That's just from dust. A little bit, I'm getting a little bit of sand coming off of this part of the shallow area. So that's probably most of that. I need to reseal that, drop the water level and reseal that, which I will do eventually. And some of the grout here and there is coming out. See those black places in the tile? That's where the grout is coming out. It's been not even a year yet, and the grout's starting to pop out in certain places. But this here is a vacuum hose and inline filter, and all this hose gets connected to this. I call this a creepy crawler. This one is an off-brand Extreme Power, but all this does is you hook up the vacuum, which is the suction to the pumps. It's a one line that I have here and one over there. And as you can see, it's just a little flip cover. The line is covered most of the time, but then when I hook the hose to it, it creates a vacuum. So this little deal here goes it just on the bottom of the pool like that, right? And sucks up all that dirt and all that debris and hair and everything else that gets on the bottom of the pool. We do this once a day or once every other day, and it takes anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours depending on how dirty the pool is at the time. But it's Saturday today, and we try to get the pool extra pristine clean before possible guests come, because guests want to come on the weekend. Of course, they're off work and children are out of school, so that's their family bonding time. So anyways, that's just part of, and then chlorine. I'll put chlorine in that one skimmer over there in the basket. And then also in the floaty here, actually I filled those yesterday. They're just chlorine tablets. I'll try to open this one up. Yeah, see, that's just a chlorine tablet. Like that, a 3-inch chlorine tablet. And then they just dissolve. They just dissolve and it floats around the pool. That's all. So it's kind of a mostly cloudy morning. There's a little bit of blue here and there, but we're getting sprinkles too still. But usually that's the way it is in the mornings. Like I say, beginning of dry season, so there's always something to do when you own a place. All you know that. I mean, if you own property, well, I say own property. If you lease property, because if you're paying taxes on your property, you don't own it. You're leasing it. Because if you don't pay the man, then they're gonna come and take your property, right? At least that's what everyone says. I mean, and I've heard of accounts of people not paying their property taxes or their property rent, and they come and get it. They come and take it from you and kick you off the land. So, I don't know. Like I say, there's no true ownership anymore. There used to be what's called, if I can remember the name, colonial. I think, no, it's close to that, like colonial title. Maybe it's allodial, something like that. You guys can look it up, but that was the true property deeds were allodial titles. And that meant that was true ownership. There was no person or agency could put a lien on that property, and there was no taxes whatsoever on that property. You owned it, truth. You know, it was true property ownership, which that's what in the early days of. I mean, I don't know all the country's constitutions where they came from and stuff, but most of them are derived off of the French and British early colonial times, you know, back in the 1600s. A lot of that stuff is based off their constitutions. And, you know, America's constitution, it was all the original titles were allodial titles, and there was no tax on that. I mean, when the federal government in America first started out, for the first, 100 years or close to it, there was no property taxes and none of that kind of stuff. Maybe for corporations there was, you know, bigger industry. But the common man, that's one of the sacred things of freedom is true property ownership. So you have a real stake in what you've worked for your entire life, with no one else can ever take it from you. And that's the way it should still be. And you know what? We've been robbed, literally robbed. The people have been robbed in so many ways. Letting these tyrants and tyrannical organizations, which were created by the people, when they start doing that kind of stuff, they should be removed immediately, and the problem should be corrected immediately. I mean, within 1 year. But, you know, and the Constitution say that, you know, Second Amendment right to bear arms in the U.S., that is in the Constitution. But people don't take it serious, or they think, oh, it'll be all right. We don't want to cause any waves. We don't want to cause any problems. Let's just go along with it, blah, blah, blah. Well, it keeps getting worse. It's a steamroller. It's like a snowball going down a mountain. It keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger against the people. And then before you know it, you're going to be exterminated. That's the direction it goes from. From the first thing that they take from the people to the end, you know, it's in the whole way, the whole journey of the tyrannical power getting bigger and bigger and more against the people. At the end, extermination time. Get out the raid or the bygone and spray them buggers, because that's what we all are going to be, is this bugs they can squash. Because why? Because we never stood up The generation that should have stood up and did something about it never did. And then the next one never did. And then the next one never did. And then all these truths and rights that your Constitution, Bill of Rights, and everything from the Founding Fathers have given you are now gone. And you don't have a choice anymore. So, yeah, it's a sad, sad, sad state of affairs. And the whole world's like that. I mean, look what's going on in France right now, right? The government basically bypassed the parliament there in France, and Macron, the president, just said, we're going to raise the retirement from 62 to 64 right now. You don't have a choice. We're not going to vote on it. That's just what we're going to do and live with it. People uprising big time there. I mean, millions. It's getting bad. So, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that governments do. And governments are for the people. If they're doing wrong things with the government or with their finances and all that, which that's what all the countries of the world are doing right now, except for these new BRIC nations that are getting in the charter of the BRICS, which is commodity-based, valued currencies. So that's what they're headed for. It hasn't been fully implemented yet, but that's at least the currency, and the money that you have is backed by a real tangible asset you can touch. Gold, silver, coal, uranium, oil, gas. I mean, all those real tangible assets. That's what backing and giving the value to the currencies. And that's exactly how it should be. Right now, unlimited printing of money. Unlimited. Not even the printing of a paper money. It's just digital entries in a computer, right? And the only ones that really benefit from that are the people that are in the government or closest to the government or contract to the government. Yeah, it's the biggest joke on the planet. I just can't believe we've allowed this to happen. Unbelievable. Well, that's my little rant for this morning. Take care, everybody. Get your prepping done. There's a lot of hard times coming, I believe. That's why I'm doing this expedition of gold, looking for gold. And I'm going to continue that as much as I possibly can because that's the future. Like I say, Middle East, Asia, Africa, Southeast Asia, they're all on a gold standard, which means they all put their money, when they earn fiat, they turn it into gold or silver, and they hide it under their mattress, they hide it in a hole, they put it in a bank vault or whatever. They keep their wealth and savings in gold, period. So that's the whole Eastern world, ladies and gentlemen. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's been with them for centuries. So you better get on the program and at least get some of it, because why not have all your options covered as best you can? So anyways, I'm going to start my vacuuming project here. We're getting pretty dirty on the pool, so so long. Please subscribe and like if you so desire, and see you next time. Take care. God bless.